Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me well, and you can see the screen sharing. Let me know if everything is fine, and we can just jump into the today's lecture. It will be quite short one, actually, just because there is nothing new from the AWS perspective, but we still need to discuss what should they do in the task number 10. So what is the expected outcome of this one? And what are the criteria and what is worth mentioning? Okay. So yeah, actually, it's just the last task of actually just the last task of this course, and we will talk about what BFF is and how can they leverage this methodology just to make our application a bit more stable, I think. And how can they do it, and what should be done actually in this task. I can't say if it's kind of the final task which will sum all what they previously learned before, uh, but it's just another part of another application. So as a portfolio, I think you can still use this already deployed application, all of the code which you already have, and all of the knowledge which you, I hope, got from this course. But yeah, today we will talk about BFF, which stands for Backend for Frontend. Since I'm not a developer, I can't really say why should we do so and how can it help us. But we will try to walk through the task itself and try to read all of the information which we got from it and try to understand how can it help us. So as usual, let's okay, yeah, first of all, it's agenda, but nothing new. Once again, just because we're nothing new about the AWS, so it's just your I think this task is just to check your developer's skill. Okay, now let's have a look at the schema. So we'll only talk about these. Okay, let me just jump in and make it a bit bigger from my end. So this is just about an our Elastic Beanstalk deployment. So we will deploy an our application in the Elastic Beanstalk. It will be, I believe, containerized once again. Oh yeah, it's a Docker. So it should be containerized once again. But this application you will need to write by yourself. So you will need to create a kind of API which will take all of the requests from the customer and try to route it to the correct endpoint. So in our case, it will be just the endpoints of our API gateway. And this application will be responsible just to take the request from the customer, try to decompose it, try to take all of the necessary keys from the customer, and route it to our existing AWS API gateway. Just maybe it makes sense from the scaling side, but I don't know. Okay. Since I can't tell you much about it, why don't we just jump into the task description? Let me have a look on how can I rearrange the screens as usual. Okay, let it be like this. Okay, so here we have the okay, should be like this. Yeah, I hope now you can see it. So we can just walk through it together. So task number 10, the final one, backend for frontend. So, okay, this is a continuation of our work number 9. I don't think if it's continuation, yeah, but still, it's kind of in our own API gateway, I would say. So the task should be done in the backend repo, the same repo with product service and the mod service services. Product service and card service services should exist and work in your application. Finding the okay, looks good. So yeah, now we need to create our folder in our repository, which will be responsible, I believe, only for Elastic Beanstalk deployment. And in this case, we will need once again to initialize and deploy Elastic Beanstalk deployment. Create application that listens for all requests and redirects was a request to the appropriate services based on variables provided by the .env file. Okay, makes sense. So you will need to um, you'll need to populate a .env file with all of the endpoints and with the endpoints which will be on which this request should be routed to. Here's the workflow example. Okay, so it's like an example on how it should work. Get a recipient URL from the end variable as a key. Okay, makes sense. Get requests method, so it should be get a post. Make a new request to the needed service using the appropriate method and recipient URL. BFF service should return the result of the recipient's request. Okay, makes sense for now. If BFF cannot find recipient URL, okay, I think recipient URL is like an endpoint from the end of the of our existing deployments. So in this case, it should be like API gateway, I believe. So if we can find it, so if it gives us, it should be 404 in our case. So yeah, we should give 502. So it's a server error. And it also should return the same status code. An error message at the recipient service returns to the BFF in case of any error on the recipient service side. Okay, so we will need just to transmit it to the requester. And then they need to deploy in our application using Elastic Beanstalk. So we will need to create in our application. So it may be Node.js, it may be TypeScript. So just whatever language you're familiar with. So even Python or just whatever. And you will need to create this application, which will connect the customer, your potential customers, okay, let's say, and our existing API gateway endpoints. And we will need to deploy this application containerized using Elastic Beanstalk. Application name must follow the following convention. Okay, use the CNAME. BFF should work only with requests from the product service and card service. Okay, so we are not touching the import service in this case. I already saw the question in the Discord about the import service, but no, we don't need to connect in our okay, let's say BFF service with the import service endpoint. So import service will be left intact and will work on the with the existing endpoint. And in case of product service and card service, where it was okay, which one they should stick for? Okay, it's product service and card service, only these two. So input service should be left intact. And as usual, we will need to commit it to another branch, which in this case will be task number 10, and make a pull request to the master. And this pull request link will be actually the submission of the task number 10. So you will need to put this link to the submission in the cross-check submissions, and it will be, I believe, just enough. And then we will briefly talk about the evaluation criteria. So you will get 80 points if your application, if your, okay, in this case, if your submission contains the link to the repository. I believe it's the one with the back end services. because if you're talking about the front end, there's nothing that should be done. Okay, actually, we should do something on the front end part of our application. Just to make our BFF work, we should change at the front end side um, the values. Before, it was just the links to the API gateway, but in this case, it should be in our BFF deployment. So we will need to switch the product service. Uh, okay, and maybe we will also need to revert it back. Let me have a look. So the Visual Studio Code. Okay, where is my application? Okay, it's cart API. Let me find the correct one. And we will have a look where we need to make all of the necessary changes. Okay, it's a constants. And I believe we also made some changes to the, not products, but was it products? Bear with me for a second, please. So I need just to find where we did all of the changes. So it should be not mocks, but utils, I believe. Not really. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, let me put it on the full screen and just place it in here. Okay, so first of all, the first thing we should do is we should change this link to our BFF deployment. So we will be provided, as you already, I believe, acknowledged about, the Elastic Beanstalk also gives us the URL, so as an endpoint in our application. And we need to provide this one to the BFF here, so we will need to change this one. And then we will need to go to the queries and products and change these products as it was initially. So if you recall it, at the first or maybe at the second task, we just changed these values from BFF to the product. So now we need to change it back. So API paths should point to the BFF just to make our application use BFF and BFF endpoints to work. And I believe this is actually it. So let's have a look at the rest. So product service API URL. Okay, makes sense. This one is also should be provided in the description to the pull request. This one as well. An example on how to call create product lambda with all needed information: URL, payload, headers, etc. So just because we are not using lambdas in, oh, okay, actually we are using lambdas, but we still have this kind of router, which is in our BFF service, which will just take all of the information and provide it to the to our endpoint. So we are free to change the information which we can take. So we can change the structure, we can change the maybe we can maybe we would like to make some checks on the data which is provided as a payload, so whatever. So you will need just to provide the information on how this URL and how the payload and here should look like. And example how to call product service and card service via BFF. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. And working on correct application should be in the BFF. Okay, makes sense. Reviewer can start this application locally with any valid configuration. Okay, sounds good, but not sure if someone will do it. But still, the BFF service should be deployed with Elastic Beanstalk. Call should be redirected to the appropriate service. Okay. Okay, and then application functionality must have. So I think this is a global requirement, let's say, from the perspective of our application. So it's it's not about this task especially, but about the course itself. So uh, this is all what we should have. So product representation, homepage, okay, products come from product DB, and so on. So this is all what we've been doing for the rest, for the past month or so. And then they have the additional tasks. So plus 20 points you can get if you add a caching mechanism at the BFF service level. For a request to the get products list lambda, blah, blah, blah. The cache should expire in 2 minutes. How to test? Get products list, create new product, get products list. The chat should have new product. Wait for more than 2 minutes and get products list. Okay, so if you're brave enough to implement the caching mechanism from the BFF side of your application, just go ahead. You'll get the additional 20 points. But we still have the penalties. So it's minus 50 points if you're using the Express package. I'm not sure why do we have this penalty? Yeah, but still, please avoid using the Express. And then there's the description template for the pull request. So this is how a pull request as usual should look like. And that's it. So if you will submit it until the end of Saturday or something like this by Greenwich, I mean, um, you are done with this course, and then you will need only to wait for a couple of days for your job to be checked. And on Wednesday, or it will be rather Thursday, you will receive your certificate if you will get this 70% of total points of the top scored student. So yeah, it should be something like this. I'm not sure if someone still have the maximum points, but yeah, we will see on Thursday. Okay, at this point, do you have any questions about this task, or maybe the course itself? On the next week, I'll also provide you the information on how to get rid of all of the services and all of the logs, all of the information and data from our AWS account, just for you to not find yourself, for example, in a year, um, but you still need to pay for any resources or just for something that you deployed in the AWS. No questions. Okay. Let me just where can I find it? Let me just double check about the deadlines. So just to make sure we are really finishing this Saturday. Okay, yeah, just to submit task number 10, you need to do it until the April 15th. And then there are 3 days to the end of the cross check. Yeah, and this is actually it. Mhm. Okay, if there are no questions, so if you will have any, please feel free to reach me in the Discord channel. Hopefully, I'll have a bit more time next week, and this week especially, just because a bit tight in time for the past week and a week or two, something like this. Yeah. And at this point, have a good rest of the day, and okay, we will not see each other anymore, but okay, maybe only on this course, but maybe we'll see each other on the next courses of upcoming courses. So we still have AWS DevOps course planned of summer. So stay tuned about the notifications and news. So once again, Have a good rest of the day and good luck and see ya. Bye.